Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to The Edward. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I'll be discussing what I thought of that awesome and downright shocking and compelling newest episode of AMC's The Walking Dead. Dropped its newest and second episode today. I just got done watching it. And before I get started, of course, as usual, please be warned, this is a spoiler, and I mean spoiler-filled episode review. So if you're not caught up on The Walking Dead Season 11 by this episode or last week's season premiere, you do not want to keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing and going into giant-ass spoilers. That being said, you have been warned. Spoiler warning is issued. Let's do this thing. First and foremost, excellent standout performances to Maggie, to Lauren Cohan, Maggie, Eleanor Matsura, Yumiko, and Josh McDermott, Eugene. Everybody, all three of them had excellent, emotional, powerful character moments all throughout this episode, and every single time, all three times, I was just glued to the screen because of what they were saying and what they were telling us and revealing to us and how they were doing it. All three of them were excellent in this, so hats off to those three. I mean, everybody was great in this show, but those three had excellent, powerful character moments. In fact, it was so nostalgic for me because it reminded me of why I fell in love with this show in the first place all those years ago, with these standout, complex, emotional character moments where we get surprising reveals and just emotional, powerful, and unfortunately tragic backstories with characters like this. Some characters that we don't know as well as like Maggie, who's been on the show since season 2, and others like Eugene and Yumiko. You know, Eugene's been there longer, but Yumiko not as long, but still like newer characters. We're still learning stuff about them, and we're still learning stuff about old characters like Maggie, who's been with us for so long, but then was gone for a while and now is back. So just standout, powerful, emotional stuff from those three. I mean, bravo, hats off to those three especially. I also love the fact that how obviously she doesn't agree and pretty sure she doesn't like what she did, but from the look on her face, Maggie almost understands Negan's logic and reasoning for leaving her behind. Granted, she and everybody else probably don't agree with it, but from the look on her face, she oddly gets it or seemed to understand it. And in fact, that was proven when they left Gage behind. Now, granted, Gage wasn't much of a character that we didn't really care or like that much. I don't know, maybe some of you did, but I was rather indifferent towards him. But I thought, hey, if they're going to kill somebody off, glad it's this guy, not someone we're invested in. But still, like, just allowing him to die like that because they're so low on weapons and ammo. And then I thought, you know what, there could have been enough time. Would I have done the same thing? I don't know, it's hard to say. In that situation, if I was in that actual situation, I honestly don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that I wouldn't, but then again, maybe I would, depending on what I had been through, what I had endured and experienced, where my head was at. But I feel like they might have had enough time to get him out of there, but ultimately it doesn't matter because they left him to die. Although, thankfully, I think he was dead before they started eating him. And then, of course, he comes back as a walker. Oh, the poor guy. Well, he doesn't stay that poor for long. Gabriel puts him down, thankfully. But solid action sequences all scattered throughout a very emotional episode on so many levels. Like Maggie's super dark story about encountering the ill-intentioned man that she turned the tables on, and then her whole story sounded super reminiscent of a fan favorite classic X-Files episode called Home from early on in season 4, featuring a group of characters called the Peacock family. Especially her description of the Walker woman sounded a lot like Mama Peacock. And I only thought of this because I recently rewatched that episode of X-Files, and I was thinking of that episode as she told her graphic and very sad, dark story. I was like, I wonder if they drew inspiration while writing the script for this show, if they drew inspiration from that X-Files episode. Just a very interesting and coincidental, the similarities. But yeah, it was great. And then we got answers as to what happened to Gage and Roy. And for a second there, I thought Daryl mercy killed Roy off screen. And then I'm like, oh, there he is. He's walking with the survivors, walking down the road here. But then sure enough, oh, there's an arrow in his eye. Now he's dead for real. And, of course, now the Reapers have finally entered the show in full form, and they look fucking scary. But yeah, this episode was great. It was well balanced between drama and action, and there's some even like, despite the way last week's episode ended between Maggie and Negan, it seems like these two are slowly working towards a somewhat respectful, if not entirely untrusted relationship. But it's like, hey, if we can learn to live together, at least we don't have to like each other, but live and work together, then maybe that's enough for both of them. But oh God, it was great. And Yumiko was especially a standout. I loved finally seeing a character who, like, in a situation where a character is normally under the microscope, so to speak, or they're being interrogated by a powerful force. And the powerful force has all the power in the corner of the room, but then it's like flipped around on them, and the character decides to assert themselves and flip the mirrors on them, putting them on the spot. And that was so satisfying to watch, considering the grueling process that our four characters have gone throughout this whole episode, or since they first encountered the Commonwealth soldiers. That was super satisfying to watch. Yumiko was awesome in this episode, and her scene alone was super, super exciting. But hey, now that it sounds like they've been officially accepted, so maybe moving forward things will be a lot smoother with the Commonwealth, or maybe not. But yeah, great episode overall. Really enjoyed it. Loved Daryl's heroic moments to the subway. Also like seeing Dog take down a walker despite the risk to himself of being bitten and whatnot. But Daryl was there to thankfully make sure that didn't happen. But still, Dog pouncing on a walker and taking him down was pretty badass, you know? Just like Daryl stuffing a grenade in a walker's mouth and then like killing all of them in the subway. Nice. Very nice. So, solid episode. I will probably rewatch it because I liked it so much. And you know what? Eugene being a virgin, not entirely surprising. I mean, I felt a little sorry for him, but there's no shame in being an adult virgin. So, and if I were him, I probably would have done the exact same thing. In fact, I know I would have. But yeah, I get it, you know, and it makes a lot of sense for his character. He's got some social quirks and some probably antisocial personality disorder type things that don't really allow him to relate to people on a normal level that most people do. But I think it just only makes his character that much more interesting. In fact, I like Eugene a hell of a lot more now than I did a few episodes ago. Granted, I've always liked him for the most part, but when we continue to learn and unravel more about a character that has been on the show for so long, it just makes that character all the more interesting and that much more wanting to see what happens to them next. And they finally met Stephanie. Finally nice to put a face to the name, to the voice. So that was great. I thought that was a great payoff for Eugene, having to endure a rather humiliating personal confession like that. But then seeing the look on his face when they realize they've met Stephanie, seems like it might have been worth it. So, great episode. Hope you guys liked it too. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned and subscribe to this channel for more Walking Dead content, with more episodes dropping every Sunday on AMC. Have an awesome rest of your night and weekend, everybody. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.